Alright guys, welcome back to part 2 of the Broom Tower DLC's Ultimate Guide. In this one we're going to be doing Fume Night, Sur Alone and all the stuff in between, and we're going to save Smelter for the last episode because that's going to be a more difficult area just because it's a co-op area.
Yeah, I mean it probably won't be as long as these areas, I guess, but...
hopefully not anyway.
Anyway, so the first thing we're going to do
is drop down and take a left because we need the iron key?
Tower key.
Tower key. Damn it, I was getting confused. But yeah, tower key, which is pleasantly hidden between 3 underground iron giants.
Now, the tower key actually unlocks the path to Smelter Demon, so you need to do this first, and it also unlocks...
Sur Alone.
Yeah, it also unlocks Sur Alone, as well as the 4 smelter wedges that you need to... Oh, no,
it doesn't. You can get them without it.
Yeah.
But you need the tower key if you want to do Smelter Demon and Sur Alone. If you're here just for Fume Night, then you can completely disregard this section. If you don't want to do the other bosses, but you do kind of want to do the other bosses because Sur Alone is a pretty fucking awesome boss.
And you also want some of the items as well. I'm pretty sure, is there any other items that you need the tower key for, or is it just Sur Alone and Smelter?
I think it's just Sur Alone and Smelter, yeah.
To get one of the Nadalia souls you need the tower key as well, so if you want Outcry you need the tower key.
Oh yeah, because you get a Nadalia soul from Sur Alone.
So I was trying to bait that guy into those,
the fire.
Into the explodey guys, but it just wasn't working.
He wasn't having it. Now, of course, as you can see, this little area is littered with those little ashen silhouettes, or whatever, the little ashen busts of people. So, obviously, you want to take care of these guys, because there's a few soul packets and stuff here that you want to pick up.
Snowmen, you mean?
No, it's ash. It's not snow.
It's quite clearly snow.
It's quite clearly ash.
Is it white? Yes or no, is it white?
But so is ash.
Does it look like snowmen?
No.
Are they snowmen?
No, they are not snowmen.
They're snowmen.
They are ash.
So
snow doesn't turn into powder when you walk over it.
Powder snow, it's a thing.
But that's not real snow. Why would you put fake snow outside?
No, powder snow is like the snow that you get in like mountains, which is meant to be good for skiing on. Anyway, I digress. There is 3 of these guys, and
all equally annoying.
Yeah, right. So basically, I mean, you can kind of see what we're doing. We're just dodging right behind them and trying to not get caught in the mad fiery armpit attack.
The lava seems to come out just like a half second or so after the attack, so it's really good to dodge early. These guys, don't try and dodge don't try and use your iframes to avoid the attack. Try and like dodge it so that if you had no iframes, it would still miss. Like try and go completely past the attack.
Yeah. You can poison these guys as well fairly easily, so you've got poison arrows to take advantage of that.
Yeah, these guys get poisoned about 5 or 6 arrows. They're pretty susceptible to poison.
They're not particularly weak to anything. They're not like, they just have a hell of a lot of defense and HP, so you just need to kind of go ham on them. But I mean,
Tony, being bad as ever, has run out of Estus at the second hurdle.
Yeah, I didn't stop at the bonfire for.
You're the best.
Yeah, I know. But anyway, continuing on. This I wanted to show that you can poison the guys, so I took my bow out and I'm going to poison this one. I also managed to actually get this guy with one of the explodey barrel guys, so that's the thing.
We should mention these guys, we spoke about their drops in the last episode, if you guys are interested in that.
Yeah.
What these guys drop, if I remember correctly off the top of my head. The 2 main drops are the Minotaur Helm and the Smelter Hammer.
They can drop Fire Drake Stone and Titanite Slab, apparently.
Slab?
Yeah. So this guy actually walks close to him, so I'm just like, yeah, fuck you, and that see, you can take off a lot of health.
Oh yeah, as we discovered in the last episode, if you ignite the barrel guys yourself without them doing it, it seems to do more damage.
Yeah, that seems to be the case.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of items scattered about this. There's nothing particularly major aside from the tower key, but there is a lot. There's like some soul packets, some human effigies, some, upgrade materials. So I mean, it's good coming here anyway. It's a little stash.
Yeah. It's as you do want to weigh it up, but the tower key is what you want the most though, because Sur Alone's a fucking awesome boss, and he does something really cool if you flawless him, which we've not even got in this video actually.
Yeah, but I mean, at the very least, it doesn't really affect any gameplay or items, so it's not a huge deal, thankfully. But we can talk about it.
If Bloodborne wasn't out, I might have tried to do Sur Alone flawless, but that was where the tower key would be. But as we said, we're using a saved character, so we can't pick up the tower key. But that's where the tower key would be. It's just hanging off that ledge. So you can see that if you run for the tower key, you're going to aggro at least 2 of the giant guys if you just like basically fake suicide run it. Yeah.
So I mean, you could just make a dash for it if you wanted.
Yeah.
And in that little door there to your right would be the door that leads to the Smelter Demon. Left. Yeah.
You should not drive a car.
Yeah, don't go to your right at this point.
Stay on the left side of the road in the UK, and Tony thinks he's fucking in America. I seen a crash happen like that once. That was weird.
What's the one driving on the wrong side of the road?
Yeah, driving downhill on the wrong side of the road after crashing, then get out the car and immediately exclaimed, "What the fuck are you doing on that side of the road?" And it's like, dude, you're on the wrong side. How drunk are you?
Okay,
it's like
so
head-on crash. It was fucking crazy.
now we are off to the
Fire Snake. Yeah, time to get Fire Snake.
cool. So
The hell area. Now I suicide run this area first thing. Go straight down to the bottom, take a left, open the door on the left wall, and that takes you to the Ashen Idol that you want to stab with a welter smedge.
yeah, it's kind of like Maldron again. You might die.
You probably will die because you've immediately got 3 guys aggroed on you in a very small room. I almost made it out, but then got hit on the way out of the door, which really fucking sucked. I see you're like trying to fight, and it's just shh.
Yeah, it's
Only dreams now. But yeah, I mean that room is like suicide. But the good thing about that is that you're no longer being cursed by the Ashen Idol constantly while fighting, so your HP is no longer a constant drain.
Yeah, I mean that's like the theory behind it. Obviously, you could fight the buffed enemies, and you know if you really wanted to.
Yeah, but it's not really worth it when you can go there once, die, go back and kill everything, take your time, and then grab your souls, and it's going to be far better for you. In NG Plus, it's especially important to do that run as suicide because 2 red phantoms spawn in that area, and they're extremely frustrating. So it really is like take your time when it comes to that area. And the entire NG to NG Plus 7 run that I did with Noel, we only grabbed Fire Snake once because fuck that noise.
Yeah, nah,
It's not fun in this room in NG Plus when these guys do like 3/4 of your health in a single hit, and you've got 2 red phantoms to take care of as well that have whips and fucking throw knives at you and shit like that. Fuck that.
They really do just sort of like pile all the enemies in incredibly
NG
unfair
Plus
ways.
is just the game but with more enemies to kill.
More harder enemies to kill as well.
And you can buy the game again for a shuffle button on your enemies too.
So in that chest there's some 4 old Radiant Life gems, so it's not particularly worth it. There's nothing in this room.
Old Radiant gems. You cannot complain about getting free healing shit. I've said this to you before. Gems are amazing to pick up, especially old Radiants. Those things heal you like hell. They're amazing. So there should only be like 2 more enemies in this area, I think, and it's a possessed armor and this guy. Oh, 3 more then, because the possessed armor's way up the back.
Yeah, shoot me with a fucking arrow.
The good news is you fucking 2-shot these guys. And that chest right there is what has Fire Snake in it. It's kind of like Firestorm. It's like the same starting wind-up animation where you like put your hand in there and then you slam it like into the ground and fire comes out. But it comes out in a straight line and it sort of tracks as well, like it bends.
Yeah.
But it's just like a wall of flame comes out in front of you, like one after the other, as if the pillars are chasing each other.
It's definitely
it's really
better for
good.
PvP than PvE. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage PvE.
PvP, you can really fuck up someone's day on a wake up if they decide to roll backwards when you're using that.
Yeah.
You can really fuck up someone's day. As well as sometimes in PvP, I've seen the thing do like a straight up U-turn in PvP and it's been like as in its turn is very tight, but other times it just completely misses or it goes straight. But sometimes it has a really, really tight U-turn and it's really good.
Yeah, so as you saw there, picked up Fire Snake, and now we are going to go...
Remember to grab your Nadalia Soul from the bottom room. Do not forget that. The Nadalia Souls are something you're going to want to make sure you have all of by the end of it, and it's really annoying getting all of them but one. It's really annoying when that happens, because then you have to check them all again to see which one's what. And what are you doing now?
Going back to the bonfire.
But yeah, make sure you grab all these Nadalia Souls.
No, I'm not going back to the bonfire specifically. I'm going and I am getting the large or great club. Either or. Because you're going to need this because there is a crystal lizard in this area.
Oh yeah, I remember this. You do the two-handed running R1 and then R2 them.
Yeah.
Because it's 2 pancake attacks. It's 2
Oh
slam
no,
bang.
this one just was fine on 1 running attack.
Well, I mean that is a +10 club though.
Yeah.
So I mean, if your club is not like maxed out and it doesn't one-shot the lizard, if you do a 2-handed running attack, it's that, and then you follow up with an R2 and it's an immediate pancake. So you hit the lizard twice, it can't escape, and you're laughing. It's really good. It is the best weapon for killing lizards in the game. Really, if it's a single lizard.
Yeah. From what we've noticed there.
Yeah, you can't get better than the running R1 and then a pancake. But you can't get better than 2 vertical slams for a lizard. And the weapon has some nice range because it's a great club.
So as it's coming up here, before it reaches the top, obviously you want to make a run and jump.
It's always easier to do these jumps going up, by the way, because you take upwards momentum and it means you can just sprint instead of jumping. So it's always better to do those on the way up. A lot of people are having trouble in Bloodborne with the drop to the blood drop when you have to go through the window because they're taking the cage elevator down instead of up, so they're having trouble, and it's always easier to do those on the way up.
So that chest contained 2 Brightbug, which is, I mean, that is actually something that you really want to get.
It's really good. It's like way better than Sacred Oath.
You definitely want to keep some Brightbugs for the 3rd DLC because they're the multiplayer, basically for any of the multiplayer bosses, Brightbugs.
This is how I died. I remember I tried to land on this and missed it and took the shortcut to the Fume Knight.
Oh,
that's what happened to me in my footage. Yeah.
So now we're going to go back up, and there's yet more. There's so many items in this area. It's absolutely chock full of cool items.
Did you remember the
I did,
door on the elevator? Good.
So we're going to, before we go up there to get the last 4 smelter wedges, we're going to take a left here, and we're going to come to the end here, and there's like 3 ways worth of items. Up those items, down those items, and across those items. So we're going to go across first, I think.
Maybe. Of course, wait until this elevator's on the way up before you drop onto it, so that you don't take any damage. Across, this is to the... Is this not to the life ring?
Life ring plus 3 as well, yeah.
Wouldn't it be better to do that? In fact, it doesn't matter, because you get the 4 wedges from higher up anyway, so never mind. But you should have 1 wedge left to do this, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you do have 1 wedge
you
left.
run out of wedges by the time you hit Sir Alon, if that's right.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you run out of wedges by the time it's Sir Alon. If our math is wrong, or you've done it in a different order, do this bit after we do the next bit. Because the next bit gives you like 6 smelter wedges.
Oh no, this is right. Like yeah, like you can hit this one without having to boil it. You can put one. You've got like 1 left after doing this or something like that, or like before Sir Alon.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really matter.
So as you can see, this guy's being healed by a warmth idol, so we want to pull him away from that because it's incredibly frustrating. You can suicide run and go for the idol, but he is likely to knock you off the edge of the cliff on the other side of those doors.
I got lucky, so when I went into it, sometimes he has like a jump back dodge thing, which he done here, so I baited him over here, and you will see. So waited for that attack, and then I just went in, opened the door. I think I opened the door, then run away again. Yeah. Baited out another attack.
You want to bait this guy, so you want to bait him once to open the door, and bait him again to get the
opening
idol.
Yeah.
So that you can actually get in there and hit it with the smelt wedge. Of course, you're completely immune to attack or stagger while you're in this for the majority of this animation. But this is what you don't want to happen, is this guy like blocking you in, which is kind of annoying. But the good news is that you've got a great sword or whatever, and you can probably survive long enough for him to get out of the way. Because their attacks tend to leave them like moving back, so they might not completely trap you. So you just try and survive that. If not, then just come back up and try it again.
So now we're hitting with these strats again, and it's a case of roll behind them until it isn't a case of your iframes are going to dodge the attack. It's just not going to hit you, and then you just hit them once or twice if you can. These things are kind of like mini bosses, really. I mean, legit, one of these is harder than the Dragon Rider boss.
Well, yeah, but the Dragon Rider boss is only a boss if your definition of boss is it has a health bar on the bottom of the screen.
Pretty much.
Then the Dragon Rider is a boss. Not even then, because you can still cheese it by just walking past it and it'll kill itself.
So you can smash these boxes and you can come around the cliff edge, and there's another item down there, which is actually a Titanite slab and some chunks, I think, so it's kind of worth getting, really.
Yeah, you gotta stay in the Dark Souls mindset of there could be something behind here. You gotta stay in that mindset. This game doesn't do much of that, but you gotta stay in that mindset of if I break this, it might lead somewhere.
So there's life ring plus 3, and
there's a few other items that scattered behind these doors as well. I don't think it's anything greatly important, is it?
A Titanite shard, I think it's Petrified Dragon Bone, and a broadsword plus 7. I don't think there's
Titanite shard.
Yeah.
At this stage of the game.
Yeah. It might be large. I wasn't paying much attention, but
at this stage of the game.
Yeah. So there's no items in this door. So
I mean, we're like what, level 150 right now? What the fuck are we gonna do with a Titanite shard?
Don't know.
We just buy one.
So remember, you could be higher than level 150 if you want, but we're showing you that if you are level 150 and you don't want to go any higher, because that's kind of like the minimum PvP level for most people consider.
Well, it's the average. So it's like what people consider the meta if there is one.
Yeah.
So this door here is the one that's already opened, isn't it? This one's just open by default, yeah.
Yeah. So
this is to the swag ring.
So you can hit that thing and this will spin, and it doesn't really kill the enemies that much, but it kills them like a little bit.
It helps with the guy on the other side of the fence because he doesn't move out of the way of it as it turns, and you have to go past him to get the simpleton's ring. So if you would have stayed in that room, the guy on the other side of this fence wouldn't have moved, and every time you hit that it would have done damage to him. That's how I killed him in my run. So
I was an idiot here, and I do exactly what you think I'm going to do. I don't know why I done that.
You're the best.
I know.
You were like, why didn't you choose my footage? Because my footage I didn't die.
It's because overall my item run was slightly better.
But you look bad right now.
Shut up.
This is my footage.
No, this is mine. You died in the exact same place.
I didn't die here at all. I made it through this without dying.
Yeah, this is my footage though.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
Anyhow, so through here there's a lovely little ring.
Now the Simpleton's Ring. So, if you've ever seen the guys in PvP who roll and go invisible in a little cloud of smoke and that, this is what they use. What the Simpleton's Ring does is, while you equip it, instead of just being invulnerable, what it does during your iframes is it makes you go invisible in a little cloud of smoke.
It increases your adaptability by 5
Yep,
as well.
it increases your adaptability by 5,
Which
as
means
long
it
as you
saves
wear
you
it.
5 levels if you, depending on
now,
what you want
it
to do.
doesn't raise your agility by 5. I need to stress that. It raises your adaptability, which is the stat that controls your agility. So say you go to 105 agility, because that's what people will do for PvP, because 105 is apparently the best agility. Based on iframes for backstepping and rolling and such like that, I think it was. But basically then, if you're at 105, say it costs you 25 adaptability to go to 105 agility, you'd essentially go to 20 and wear the Simpleton's Ring instead, and it saves you 5 levels. Much like the Dex Ring and the Strength Ring, it's pretty much the exact same. But it does, however, highlight your frames, and it shows you when you're immune. And there's apparently a little trick you can do because of the PC DX9 60 frames a second thing, where if you like perfectly time your rolls, you're not in recovery for as long when coming out of a roll or going into one. So you can just be like boom, 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 rolling constantly, and you can be really quick with it.
So, the item that you saw us get there, by the way, at the bottom of that lift was the Pilgrim Spontoon, which is a spear that also works as a casting tool.
Just keep mashing X on this wall, by the way. Just keep mashing the X button or the A button or whatever it is on PC, whichever one is the one you use to activate invisible walls or illusory walls, because there's one on this right here, and it leads to Hollow Skin, which greatly, greatly increases your curse resistance to the point where you can't be cursed, I think. I'm pretty sure you can't be cursed because people use it against Nishandra to avoid being cursed by her. It's either you can't be cursed or it gives you amazing curse resistance, either or. But it is very good for Nishandra. But you've already done Nishandra if you're following our guide anyway. You've done Nishandra by now, so it doesn't really have a purpose.
But I mean, I guess if you're PvPing someone and he has a curse build.
So when we got to the top of that elevator, if you're facing the wall, we took a right. The reason for that is to the left is Sir Alone, and you can't access Sir Alone's memory anyway until you kill Fume Knight.
Yeah, so
there's no reason to go that way yet, and we don't have enough smelter wedges to take care of the idol that's up there because we want to save enough of them for smelter. Now those holes in the wall, Fume Knight, sorry, yeah. There's breakable walls here as well, by the way.
Just the one.
There's one upstairs.
Yeah.
Which leads you to, I can't even remember what it is. I know it's something that might be worth it anyway.
I think it's some upgrade. Oh no, it's a ring. It's the Dispelling Ring plus 1.
Dispelling Ring plus 1. That's the one. The one that gives you like 150 resistance against everything, or 150 defense against everything.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
It's really fucking good. It's like one of the rings that I used to wear all the time in PvE in the higher NG pluses, because it just helped to have it on all the time. Or if I had time, I would swap out to a certain ring. But it helped against Alana because of all the different...
Now, to open this, you don't want to hit that bullhead. No. Because that will probably make most of the little barrel guys blow up.
That will kill the barrel holders. So you want to go over here and you want to get these guys over on your side. But you need to take out these guys as well, though, because they could kill the barrel guys or hit them and blow them up early, and you really don't want that. But you want to chase a barrel guy back here so that he will go into the idol's flames, and he will of course blow open that wall to the Dispelling Ring, which is always good to have.
Now the good thing is that the flames will help you take care of the enemies. Oh yes. So that's something at least.
But these guys can be pretty tough here because there are quite a few of them. There's like 5 of them.
Yeah, I mean there's like a whole bunch of fucking possessed armor.
Yeah, these guys are really annoying because if you can't break their poise on a hit, then they really do fuck you up. But because you get Greatsword, and if you use a Stone Ring and two-handed, you will 100% break their poise on every hit.
There's like
super good.
Very few enemies that won't get staggered by that.
Yeah, very few indeed. So now we're just going to use our fabled punch strats to get these guys, just to convince them. You know, just use a little gentle persuasion.
Yeah. Like just come on, just go.
Some persuasion of the domestic kind. That's a bad joke, but it's not true.
You make a domestic violence joke there?
I mean, I might have. Why? That we're not allowed to do that on YouTube? When do we give a fuck what we're allowed to do on YouTube?
I don't know, I'm just wondering if that's what you were saying.
I mean, it might have been hinting in that direction. I don't want to say it definitely is.
Anyway, so coming through here and just more barrels.
Try not kill yourself to the moving idol. Jesus, Tony. You're the best, you know that? You're the best.
That was.
Yeah, your run was definitely better than mine's.
It was quicker than yours.
Yeah, but mine's was of a much higher quality and caliber.
So anyway, so
that was more welter smedges, so we can kill Fume Knight, by the way.
Yeah, so those are the 4 that you're going to use to take care of his
you get, like,
idols.
6?
Nah, I don't technically. It's kind of fucked up with the amount of smelter wedges that I have. Like,
No, I mean you get like 6 smelter wedges out of that, because that's enough to do Fume Knight, and it's enough to do the one. It's enough to do the.
No, there's only 4. Yeah, and then you get
the 5th one from Milan.
No, you get the last smelter
From
wedge
Milan.
from no.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Solid. Yeah.
So it was 4 that you got there.
And then you get the last one. So basically, when you go to do Surlon, you need to just run past him and just go straight into his area.
Yeah, it's 6 it gives you at the very beginning, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm confusing it with.
Okay, so now we are off to the Fume Knight, and I'm just going to,
Rest at the bonfire because we want to refill all our shit, and then we're going to make our way down to take on, which I definitely feel is the best boss in the entire game, including all the DLCs.
Now, the issue with the Fume Knight is that we don't have like a whole lot of footage of it.
Nah, the fight went pretty quickly.
And that's because our particular boss killing setup pretty much melts bosses entirely. We actually highly recommend that if you're having trouble with Fume Knight, just soul vessel into something that can just use a rapier, just get base rapier stats and you'll have no problem.
The DLC, like right off the bat, like underneath the room that had the second Ashen Idol you ever encounter, underneath that they give you 2 soul vessels. So I mean, if your build just isn't cutting it, then you, as Tony said, you can respec into like a dex build with a rapier and just bright bug and go ham on him, and you fucking destroy him really quickly.
Oh,
and then just
entirely.
spec back into what you want. Like just use that as your boss killer build, because you're bound to pick up multiple soul vessels throughout the other DLCs as well. So you can just spec into all that shit.
Now, what happened there was you can drop down into the next room, but he actually dropped down and died, so we cut it out. So we're just the footage that you're seeing is if you just drop down one level from where you were.
Yeah, I didn't drop down and fall through all the floors like you can, so do not do that. What happened was, as I was making my way down through each floor, eventually I died to the enemies.
Yeah.
You'll see where my bloodstain is. But there are ones that are, there's like broken areas, and you don't want to fall down the wrong one, because if you fall down the wrong one, you're going to fall all the way to the bottom floor. It's going to do a lot of damage to you, and a lot of enemies are going to join you in the bottom where you're fighting another one of those guys that drops the smelter hammer.
Yeah, it's not an instant death, but it's going to give you a fucking hard time.
You're pretty much dead. Like, if you land in that room with that guy and a couple of these guys, you're pretty much dead because their damage is so high and you're definitely not breaking the big guy's poise.
No, I don't even think it has poise.
So as you can see, there's my bloodstain over there because there's 2 guys down here, or at least one guy fell off and then it multiplied to 3 guys. Missed that one. I got it the first time though, but well seen you cut that bit out, dick.
Sorry. I mean, you're the one that's going about with this with the halberd. But so luckily that guy fell off, so it gave you a bit of a break.
I didn't want him to though. I'd rather the 2 of them up here because that means I'm going to have to deal with more guys as I drop down. Like you don't want the guys to fall off, because as they drop down and more of them accumulate on the on the one floor, it makes your life more difficult. So just
highly ignore the dark.
I'm the best at
patch
plunging
ground.
attacks, by the way, like the best.
Oh, it's so good.
I'm like ENB out of 10.
So yeah, don't fall into that dark bit.
Nah, dark pit is bad. Avoid dark. Always drop down the open ones, because as you can see, underneath that dark pit is another giant hole in the floor, which is where enemies are. That'll actually drop you all the way down to the bottom, as you can see, and that is bad, because then the 2 guys that are on this platform are going to follow you down into the bottom, as I've said, and you're just going to get beat the shit out of you by loads of dudes. Almost fell down accidentally there, but I managed to recover, thankfully. But now there's 3 guys here because I let them drop down.
Yeah, so yeah, you really don't want to
Thankfully,
let
I
them
got rid
drop
of
down.
1 really quickly, though. I'm so used to Bloodborne stam regeneration being so fast. I was like, alright, now I can swing 10 times again. So we thought there was an item on these ledges. There isn't, so I'm like trying to peek round and see if there's an item there, but it doesn't look like there was, so I just dropped down. It turns out I was right, there wasn't. So
whatever ledge you drop onto, it doesn't really matter. But
no, you want poison arrows for this section 100% though.
Yeah, well, I mean,
they just make it a lot easier. Poison arrows or poison knives, whatever. Because up in this little ledge, you are completely safe. This guy will not attack you, so I'm going to whittle him down with poison arrows till his health gets reasonably low, and then I'm going to jump in and get the last hit and pretend that I done it all by myself, and that was amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what you want to do. It's
all the glory and hardly any of the work. That's how I roll my life.
That's how these guys.
That's
work.
why I get you to edit everything. All the glory, hardly any work.
I mean, that's kind of how the guides are supposed to work.
I mean, yeah, the guides are showing you how to beat the game easily, like how to give you the least amount of trouble. You can go down there and challenge this guy if you want to, if you're feeling particularly ballsy, if you just want more difficulty, then sure, go for it, why not? We're not going to tell you not to. We're just showing you how we do it the easy way.
Yeah.
Of course, some dickhead in the comments going to be like, how do you even play these games? How can you even say there's 10 best weapons when you play the game like this? Just parry it. Fuck you. Honestly, some of the reasons why our top 10 why our weapons list, like, they're all wrong. No, you're wrong.
It's an opinion.
It's an opinion. There's no such thing as a wrong opinion.
Except when people saying the Murakumo was good, because, I mean...
No, I'm going to back them up. The Murakumo is good, it just requires more time to learn the weapon, and that's not always best for some people. The Murakumo is a good weapon, I managed to get alright with it. I probably could be good with it with a few more hours play, but I don't want to.
So we're just running past these particular enemies because they are buffed, and I don't even know what Ash and Idol is actually buffing them.
There isn't one, these guys are just buffed all the time.
So... these enemies don't really matter. You can't. There's no point in even taking care of the buffed ones. They don't do.
But that's sorcery clutch ring. That gives you a bonus of 30 magic damage.
So long as a weapon has innate magic damage.
If it has innate magic damage, you get a bonus of 30. If it doesn't and you infuse it, you get a bonus of 15. Between 15. Sometimes you get higher. Sometimes you get like 34. If it has innate magic and you infuse it, you get a bonus of about 45. Something
like that.
Yeah.
It's a bit fun, but I mean basically like if you've got a sorcery weapon that's infused with magic, you're going to get the most out of it.
Yeah, so like if you make a magic Moonlight Greatsword, you're going to get a lot more damage out the sorcery clutch ring than what you would with just say like a magic longsword, for example.
Okay, so what we're doing here is we are staying as close to the wall as possible.
Well, it's okay for this side because there's no guys on the left side. This is the regular version of the game, by the way. We should mention that it's not Scholar Edition. But there's no guys on the left here, so you can just walk down. You can take care of these two, no problem. There are, however, two guys on the other side. I'm of course sticking very close to the wall because I forgot they weren't on this side. But they are on the other side. There's two of the giant smelter hammer guys, but you can take them out one at a time pretty easily. Provided you don't aggro both at the same time, you should be okay.
So again, you know, using the smelter wedges that you got from the Surlon, the area next to the Surlon.
The one with the exploding wall that gave you the dispelling ring. So now there is a bonfire at the other side of this area, so I mean you can just rush the bonfire and just take the death if you want to, but you're still going to have to take care of the smelter, the burning idols with the smelter wedges. So what we find is just take care of one, trigger the first guy to jump out of the ground, take care of him, and then do the same with the next guy and just play it really safe. Like, he's going to jump out now. The other one's further around the corridor. And it's the same strategy as ever. Just, if you can, poison these guys because they get poisoned pretty quickly, and apparently they've got a shitload of reach. But yeah, just poison these guys and then just do your best to chip away as the poison, like, basically drains their HP. You do your DPS is insane while they're poisoned and you're attacking them at the same time. Your DPS skyrockets. It's really handy. But these guys are a bit of a pain in the ass because of that stupid shit.
So I mean, you can see taking off chunks there, so that's pretty good.
And that time I did just use my iframes because I was like, fuck it, it's gonna die anyway.
Yeah. If you're not good at the game, then you probably don't want to try that so
much.
Well,
it's not if you're not good at the game. If you just haven't worked out your iframe timing yet, be it like lack of experience or you just really don't give a shit about the game, you want to go through it, then you may not want to try something so risky. But I'm pretty comfortable with the Souls games, so I'm okay with that. I mean, yeah. I'm not saying it's like a massive feat of fucking intellect and skill to roll through an attack. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if you're not as experienced, that might not be your best option.
No, there's tiny chunk.
I don't want to sound like Kanye West.
Oh, he's such an arsehole.
He's like the best kind of arsehole though, because he's perfectly mockable and no one can hate you for it because everybody hates him.
I think the worst part is he doesn't know it. Do you know what I mean? Like, in his mind he's like, why does no one like me? But anyway,
no, in his mind he's like, of course everybody likes me, I'm God.
Why wouldn't you like me every day?
I know. I'm the guy that looks at himself in the mirror and goes, yeah, you're hot as fuck. That's like Kanye West sort of thing.
I know.
There's like a meme going around about Kanye West where it's like Kanye is the type of guy that would, and then it's a very, very Kanye West sort of thing. I'm going to look one up right now just for just to keep the ball rolling while you talk about something.
Okay, so here's the last Ash and Idol that we'll put this metal wedge into, and now we're going to go to the bonfire and equip our boss killing loadout. Really, I mean.
Oh, here's one. Kanye's the type of guy to dial the wrong number and then tell the person who answers they answered the wrong number.
Okay, so
the type of guy to sneeze and say bless me, thank me, I'm welcome.
So to reiterate with our boss killing setup, we're pretty much just using the Hexer set because its weight to defense is good, but it's light, which is, you know, we want to be as light as possible so we've got the longest reach on our roll. we've got the Ring of Blades, Flynn's Ring, and the old Leo Ring, because we're using poking
because
attacks.
it's boss killer setup time, and the Fume Knight has really large counter windows after his ultra greatsword swing, so you can get in like 2 or 3 counter hits really fast. And of course we're buffing. We're going to use, I think we use lightning resin, because according to the Wikipedia, lightning's his biggest resistance. Now we done some testing, and granted it wasn't perfect, but we found that lightning and dark were doing the most damage out of the crossbow shots.
Yeah.
With fire, of course, doing the least because he's the Fume Knight, and magic wasn't doing so well. But it looked like lightning is your best bet, and according to the wiki, lightning is his lowest resistance. Now, when I say his lowest resistance, I mean it is the lowest of the 4. It's not necessarily low; it's pretty high. He's got pretty high element resistance across the board. So using split damage isn't really good against the Fume Knight. You'd want to go just pure physical and just try and outplay
and then
him.
just sticking a resin on your thing, because then you're just getting that's just
Yeah,
extra damage.
you can't do less damage, but with a buffed infused weapon, you can do a lot less damage.
Yeah. So for some reason you're just.
I'm trying to remember his resistance, but then I remembered, yeah, it's definitely lightning, and I was going for it, because I remembered we used magic in the NG+7 run on our rapiers, and it wasn't too bad. But according to the wiki, his dark and his magic resistances are pretty close, with lightning being a medium resistance, and he has extremely high fire resistance as well. He's also immune to poison, so good luck.
So yeah, using one of those bright bugs that we picked up later, and you'll see that we are having just the amount of damage that we are dealing to the Fume Knight just instantaneously makes him not an issue.
Yeah, now you can get a lot of good damage off the start here as he spawns in, so just get in there, let your stamina recover, and then just go ham on the R1s. Just as, like, if the last attack would drain your stamina, use an R2 instead. That's how you use the rapier to kill a boss quickly, and it guarantees you the most damage. I don't know if I do it here. I don't. I conserve my stamina because it usually opens with a quick attack.
So look at the amount of damage that we are dealing with.
He's already down 1/5 of his health and the fight's been on for 10 seconds. Granted, the first like 4 seconds he's completely immobile and he just sort of takes it like a bitch.
Now,
The Fume Knight is really quick, so be careful, he's really quick. Your dodge time is going to be important. He has really wide swing arcs and he often hits you at the end of his swing. Now that he's buffed, he didn't really spend long in his fast phase, but now that he's buffed, his Ultra Greatsword does dark and fire damage, and it does a lot of it. And he has an AoE that you're going to see. This is deadly. If this hits you, it's deadly. Just dodge back into the left. Dodge towards it.
That's what you pretty much want to dodge into his large sword swings. Like that's pretty much.
This is his AoE. If you roll backwards twice, you're perfectly safe. As you can see, I'm very comfortable with Fume Knight.
So again, dodging into that attack. Now that's why we want to go as light as possible, because it means that our wind up into the dodge is quicker. We dodge further and faster.
Do not roll past him, by the way, when he does that attack, because often you roll into his swing, like to the end of his swing, and it will still do a shitload of damage, so just be careful of that. But this is Fume Knight pretty much dead. I fucked him up real good. But that's how the boss killer works. Just once you get used to rolling his attacks, you're not going to have any issue with Fume Knight, but he is still a very difficult boss if he doesn't allow much room for mistakes. And when you're low HP and you need to heal, he can be very, very aggressive and very forward.
Indeed.
So be careful with that.
So now we've got the Crown of the Old Iron King, which does...
Crown of the Old Iron King, every 2 minutes, you gain back 20% of your spells. So if you're doing particularly lengthy invasions as like a battle mage, like a gank spank for example, if you're in a gank then you're going to want to survive for as long as possible. This refills your heals, your buffs, your offensive shit. Crown of the Old Iron King isn't actually too bad. It's really fun.
Will it give you back your one Forbidden Sun?
Yes.
Cool.
If it always gives you 20%, and if there isn't 20%, it gives you back one.
Cool.
It's
so
really
that's
good.
to know.
I used to invade with the Crown of the Old Iron King on a battle mage, because it just made more sense to have, like, instead of wearing the hexes and getting one extra cast, what I'd often, in fact, I would go in with the hexes, but obviously have more than minimum stats to use what I want to use. And if it turned out to be a gank, if I got time to, I would switch to the Crown of the Old Iron King so that I can give myself more longevity instead of just one extra cast of every spell. It means the refill. Also, see if you wear it in your own world. The time you wear it in your own world counts towards the amount of time you wear it in someone else's if you invade. So if you wear it for a minute in your own world, then you invade someone, a minute into that invasion, you'll get another spell back.
Well, that is pretty cool.
And that's 20% of every spell that you have, which is really good. It's really good to get that back, especially if you're in a sorcery build, because you're constantly you want high spell count, you want high damage output. Then Crown of the Ivory King is really good for that because you get those spells back. Of course, as you said, Forbidden Sun with the crown is amazing.
So now that we've got the crown, it means that we can actually take on Sarlon. So. Yep.
Up the elevator and to the left.
That door should be shut, but you need the tower key to get into that door.
So we got the tower key earlier on in this video.
Yeah.
So that was at the area that had the three giant smelter hammer guys.
Yeah.
So now this section here, there's where you'll be invaded by prowlers. Now these guys are really good, but we're not going to deal with them right now, but just for the sake of completion, we'll give you the drops in case we forget later.
Now initially what we're doing is we're just running past these guys because they will continuously respawn, I think, because of the Nadalia idol. So what we're going to do is we're just going to run straight to the bonfire because you can light it, and if you die, you just go back here.
Exactly, and then just go straight for the idol because you're immune when you hit the activation button. Now the Prowlers are really good because they mean you don't need to join the Bell Covenant to farm for Berserker Blade or the Mad Warrior set because the Prowlers can drop it. So if you leave the idol alive, you can just potentially infinitely farm the Prowlers, I suppose, until you get all the drops. And because they're Red Phantoms, they always drop like +5 grade items and weapons. But it's a really good little enemy to take on now. But we did ignore the idol there because we're going to get the last smelt wedge we need from this boss.
Yeah, because you wouldn't have any smelter wedges at this point.
Exactly, you would be all out.
So, funnily enough, the summons for this are actually incredibly useful for getting to the boss.
Yes, they are.
They're actually also quite useful for me anyway. If you're not using the boss killer setup, they're actually relatively good for taking off a lot of aggro against Sauron because Sauron does so much damage.
He can do a lot. He can do a very, very high amount. Some of his attacks are insanely high damage, but I mean, you'll be okay. You won't have too much. It will take a bit of getting used to because he's so much faster than the other bosses. He's like really quick.
Now, these enemies have a shit ton of poise, and even the rapier with the stone ring still can't deal with them very well. So the great sword with the stone ring will be able to break the poise and make this so much easier. We do not recommend using the rapier for taking care of these guys. But yeah, I mean, these Alone Knights are much more difficult than the Alone Knights that you fought later on and earlier on in the game.
Yeah, these guys have got like they've got like the DLC difficulty level of health essentially.
Yeah.
They've got more HP, they do a lot of damage, but we're lucky in the fact that with the stone ring and the two-handed ultra great sword you can break their poise. So definitely use that to your advantage. If they can't attack you, you can't take any damage. And if you can break their poise, they can't attack you. So like that's something that becomes really important in the higher NG pluses as well. When you're taking so much damage, it's really good to break their poise so that they cannot actively damage you. So like that's what we noticed was that as we were going higher into the game, it was better to break the poise so you don't take the risk of damage, but instead you can just keep dishing out damage so long as you have stamina.
So as you can see, at base stats with the great sword, you can 3-shot these guys. So it might be worth just putting a resin on so you can 2-shot the Alone Knights.
I think you can 2-shot them if you go R1, R2. I think it 2-shots them.
Yeah,
the
probably.
The heavy attack will 2-shot them, and the heavy attack is a horizontal, is like a diagonal swing, I think.
Yeah, it's the golf swing.
Yeah. So it's very good. It's very good.
So we're just taking care of the salamanders. You don't really need to deal with them, but it's
better to because they do a hell of a lot of damage. And this guy's just giving me a fucking runaround.
Yeah.
There's there, fucking dick. Slammed.
So we actually, for some reason, completely. Oh no, we get the items after this at the beginning part.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can get ganked off these Alone Knights really badly. So
there are a lot of them here.
So you can see how the summons are actually really helping to just take them off your ass.
Summons don't affect environmental enemies, they only affect bosses, so we're going to get rid of the summons before the boss, because with the boss killer setup you just completely annihilate Sauron, so you don't really have to worry about getting shit on too bad. If you get consistent with dodging his attacks and stuff like that, then you should be fine to just go in solo and take him on. And of course then you can practice him as well if you want to see if you can try and get the if you flawlessly kill Sauron, he goes great seppuku.
Yeah, he ends up basically, if you kill him without taking a single hit, you get like a unique death animation for him essentially.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Now,
you guys can probably see that. I'm pretty sure Vati did it.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure a few other Twitchers and YouTubers have done it too.
My issue with this whole area is it's so shit. It's like PS2 level like game design and area design.
It doesn't look great.
It doesn't. However, his boss room looks fan-fucking-tastic.
His boss room makes up for all of it. Like his boss room is so good.
Yeah.
It's my favourite boss arena in any Souls game.
Like, how are you even able to run across that? It's like,
I don't know.
I mean, it's not a glass floor, clearly.
No, it's obviously not.
So his legs should have fell between that.
Yeah, like the fact that the Alon Knights can traverse that is stupid, like fucking elves or something.
No.
Legolas, what do your Alon eyes see?
So there's a bunch of items down here. There's really nothing of like great importance. I mean, there's a Twin Blade +7, but you can get a Twin Blade at this point.
So, you guys should probably watch the Twin Blade helicopter video. That was really funny.
Oh yeah, but yeah, look that up.
Someone posted that on Reddit, and it was really funny. Because it just shows you how frivolous Twin Blade really is. And the video is actually pretty funny.
So, fucking, what else?
But yeah, YouTube, Dark Souls 2, Twin Blade Helicopter.
No, that wasn't a pickup there, that was actually the Alone Knight, that was a drop from there, so. Don't go thinking that's an item there just on a Lone Knight drop that summons killed.
You can farm the Lone Knight set off of these guys down here.
The Lone Knight set it's okay. It's got pretty decent fire resistance. It's quite heavy though. So.
Yeah. I'm going to check and see what the salamanders drop, just in case there's anything significant about them.
Oh yeah, they probably drop fire drake stone.
Probably do, yeah.
But even at that, they don't seem to have dropped much.
Crack red eye orb, fireball, fire orb, and great fireball apparently are drops.
So yeah, they can drop pyromancy apparently. So I got kinda fucking.
It makes sense that they would drop the fireball sort of spells, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Why did we switch to your footage?
No, this is your footage.
Yeah. So why did you say I got kinda? No, I just get
you got like sort of cornered in there because you're fucking summons.
They used their army of ninjas against me.
You really need to be able to walk through white phantoms. That's something that really needs to happen.
Yeah, like friendly player collision is a pain in the ass. But then again, you kinda need that, otherwise you get completely fucked.
So that should be the last salamander. Now remember, you can pretty much just completely run past all this shit. We're just picking up the items.
It's difficult. It's difficult to just run through this. Like, it'll take you a few tries to figure out what you probably want to watch a speedrunner do it, to be honest, because it is a particular run. There's a certain way to do it so that you lower your chances of taking damage greatly.
Yeah.
But it's not as easy as just go to the boss done like the rest of the game. It's you do need to do quite a bit of dodging. Some sick dodges.
Yeah, you need to get your dodges down.
Yeah.
So there's some repair powder that you'll clearly need at this stage.
Yeah, because the greatsword almost broke on me. I had to pop 2 repair powder. I don't know why, because I'm going to be using the rapier for a long, so I didn't even need to fix it.
And there's some radiant life gems, and in that door here is where the boss is.
Yep. So at this point, I'm going to send both the phantoms home because, as I said, with the boss killer loadout that we're using, you really don't need the phantoms at all.
Remember, you can buy bright bugs from Valencia in Majula.
Yes, you can buy 3 off the very beginning, and then every time you kill a boss that is linked to the fires in Majula, you can buy 3 more.
Cool.
I think it's that, because you can buy 3 more. I think it's actually after every old one, every one required to go through the Shrine of Winter, you can buy 3 more.
Yeah.
But you can get quite a lot as well. You get quite a few of them in the first DLC, and you get 2 in this DLC as well. Or something, it was 2 or 3 from that chest next to the crystal.
It would appear that each DLC gives you 2 bright bugs. So.
I mean, that's good, because along with the 9 that are in the main game, that's more than enough to go through all the DLC.
Yeah, easily. So we're bright bugging, we're resoning, we've got our rings on, and we've got the rapier. So I mean, Sauron is really quite difficult. He can be like, when he hits you, he hits really hard.
Yeah, I figured out that you can do Sauron pretty easily by just walking backwards and dodging his dashing attacks and his running attacks. You can roll backwards pretty safely. Now, Sauron's resistances, according to the wiki, we've got very high fire, magic, and lightning resistance in order. Lightning is the best, then magic, then fire, and he's also got high dark resistance. But he appears to be most vulnerable to thrusting damage, which is a bonus for us because we're using Leo Ring Rapier setup.
So, you can see that we're doing a hell of a lot of damage to him.
Oh yeah, that's the Brightbug doing its work. Brightbug is amazing. It's like an insane damage bonus and defense bonus.
What seems to be the case with
Who the fuck is that signing? God damn it, Snap, get out of my video. Oh, it's Seaghart.
I couldn't tell, it's too small.
Tell who it was.
But I mean, what seems to be the case is you can get 2 hits in with the rapier.
Oh wait, we forgot to do one thing. Look at that floor.
I know.
It is marvellous. You even see a reflection. It's so nice.
Clearly that's what he's done this entire time, just mopping up.
Yeah.
He's just been polishing that floor.
Wash on, wash off. That's
Right,
how he's
so
such a good samurai.
Most of his attacks are really just straight up just sword attacks, and you know you can tell what they're doing.
He has a buff, by the way. His blade will glow and he'll stab you. It will take off a lot of HP and it buffs his sword. His sword does a shitload more bleed damage, and it also gets a massive damage bonus too. Now that I rolled very early. You're supposed to roll a lot later than that. But if he buffs his sword, just back off until his buff runs out because he'll take off a lot of your HP. And when he's buffed, he is a little scary. He also gains the ability to fire out like a dark greatsword style projectile. It's like the Moonlight Sword projectile, but it's like dark fucking purple because it's the dark damage. But it's pretty cool. But he's overall a very fun boss, very fast-paced boss, and if you're not using the boss killer setup, you'll probably have a harder time. But he is pretty good. He's a very good fight if you don't just completely like
destroy him.
Yeah, if you don't bullshit your way through him like we did, he's a really good fight. And now we get the last smelter wedge, which we're going to use next to the prowlers. So we're going to exit via the throne, and that's us.
Yeah.
As I mentioned in the last video, by the way, if you're a co-op phantom, Sir alone will drop you pieces of his armor on the odd occasion of +5 rank. It's like +3, +5, or +6 he'll drop, I think. And it's various pieces of his armor, so you can farm Sir Alon's armor without actually.
Did you get a Sir Alon's soul?
Yeah, you get the soul, which makes the bewitched Alon sword.
Right, because you can also buy the fume. Where is it you buy the fume armor?
The Fume armor, you buy all the DLC armors you buy from Madrigal.
Oh yeah, it's Madrigal, so it's not Molin from Majula, it's
this is
Madrigal.
the guy in the Iron Keep. You buy the armor from Madrigal. He's to do with all the DLC armor.
Yeah.
And in the next DLC, we're going to explain a very, very, very fun thing on how to get the Burnt Ivory King armor, which is the most arduous journey ever.
Yeah, we're not showing you, we're just telling you.
Yeah, we're telling you. We're not going to bother showing you because this is such a fucking time dump.
We should mention about how you get the fume swords and stuff.
Yeah, you spend Raim's soul at Ornifex. He has 2 weapons. You get the Fume longsword, which is it's just a longsword with dark damage. I think it's 15 strength, 22 dexterity. It's a longsword that comes with the regular. It's a sun sword, but it's dark infused and it has a little bit more reach. So I mean, it's not bad. But yeah. I still found the regular longsword to be better because I just love its moveset. But the other one is the Fume Ultra Greatsword, which is an amazing weapon. 40 strength, 30 dex requirement. It is very steep, but when you two-hand it or one-hand it, when you one-hand it, the R2 on it is a block into an attack, which is really good. You can use it to counter enemies, and you can chain it with people as wake-ups, and it does a lot of damage because of the Fume Sword's reach. When you two-hand it, it's the L2 that becomes the block into attack, and it's really good. It's like 90% damage reduction across the board. It's really fucking good reduction. The only downside to it is you can be guard broken while using the attack.
Ah.
But it's still very good to just chain to chain block attack people. It's very good.
So as you saw, one of the Prowlers dropped a bit of the Mad Warrior set, so that's pretty cool.
So this doesn't actually respawn the Prowlers, it's just this is a Warmth idol.
Yeah.
So we were wrong about that, but that's us pretty much done. Because that's us got the Soul and Adalia, which you trade for Outcry or the Chime of Screams. Please trade it for Outcry, because the Chime of Screams is just hair-pullingly bad.
Yeah.
It's not good.
It's the Ebola of Chimes.
I mean, to put it bluntly and probably very offensive, yes, it is the Ebola of Chimes, I suppose one could say. But that's us got Soul and Adalia, which the 11 or 12 soul pieces put together. I think it's 12. 12. Yeah, because you get 11 Welter Smedges, and you get the other one from the Fume Night fight.
Yep, but so yeah. I mean, that's pretty much it for this part. The next part we will be doing the optional Smelter Demon set, and
the co-op area.
Although the reskin Smelter is far more difficult than the original Smelter.
He's about as difficult, but his attack timings are a little different, and it does throw you off as well as he has more AoEs as well. So you just got to be
more health, more damage, etc. But the boss killer setup should make light work of him.
It probably will, because it makes light work of regular Smelter, and his defenses aren't too different other than a magic and fire defense flip, really.
Yeah.
So we'll walk you guys through that. We'll hold your hand, and then you can be Dark Souls PvE pros like us.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, really, we never claim to be particularly good at the game. We just have an encyclopedic knowledge, and we are good at finding little tricks and
It's fine though, because dickheads in the comments will claim that we're the best at the game, and we should go fucking hang ourselves and go outside for once and stop
running away
Dark
and
Souls
just
2
tries
and
to get you
else.
back.
I just gave up. Do it. Fuck it. I mean, they're here to watch us do it for them. So why are they giving us shit? The suicide run,
anyway, so that's it for this part.
Problem. So
that's part 2. As you can see, links are on screen. So remember,
and then we're going to come back and
follow on Twitter, follow on Twitch.
Yeah,
we've already went to follow you BONFIRE.
And then after that, it'll be the third DLC. And of course, we have decided we are going to definitely just gearing up for War. This is the game's so
good. We thought that the Hal would be the better. Chances are we'll be doing a scroll. You'll see, this is his footage. Well, you've not made it. You'll see that probably you're not even watching.
I mean, we're just going to do this at the end of every video. Call them a different name at the end of every
really,
video.
the whole
We
issue
have
is
to watch
get rid
the
of
end,
that
and it raises our
Action
average
Idol
minute
and just take
duration
the
views.
enemies one by one.
So what you want to drop this time,
Action
especially quickly. So I'm just running past everything here because it doesn't.
Hit a blank.
I do make the mistake of letting my stamina. Fuck you, asshole! Which means I can't sprint immediately. If you just don't, if you let your stamina just not drain, and then let go, then it will regain and you can sprint fast. Now what I did just there is I ran very close to the right side of Maldron, so the attack to the right gives you more time to get into the Ashen Idol, and now I'm just desperately trying to get the fuck out of there, and it doesn't look like I make it. No.
Nah.
There is no way out of that.
So on the way back, which is now going to be my footage, you'll see in a second.
By the way guys, Maldron doesn't drop anything, but in the third DLC he makes an appearance and he does drop stuff, so that's pretty good. He will of course drop an Ostone if you're in the Champions Covenant, but that's pretty much like, you don't even need to point that out at this stage.
Yeah. Now what I initially tried to do here was see if I can hit Maldron off the edge using a golf swing and drop